the hell's going on, Victor?
I don't know, Ed. They're your friends. They're not my friends. They're your friends.
So these folks are the folks in the People Experience class.
People Experience Workshop.
God.
Also known
7
as
times I tried that.
PEW. Just remember Pew.
No, so this is stage 3, right? Yes. How's it going? Thumbs up?
Yeah.
Things are good?
Wait. Cliff's going to give some commentary. Cliff, just slide over here, man. Just slide over here. All right.
Cliff Brown.
Tell the folks, speak close to my microphone, how you enjoying the class.
It's great. We're learning a lot. A lot of the initiatives for the company is people first. So we're excited to bring it back to each region, each branch, change the culture, get everybody thinking about your customers and your people that work for you. That's the most important thing.
Awesome.
Nailed it.
Cliff
Thank
Brown,
you.
RSM extraordinaire, on his way to Destin for the REC trip out of the Illinois region. How many President's Clubs?
9.
9 President's Clubs, whole bunch of gold jackets. Outstanding. So,
Love it.
anything else? No. All right, get out of here.
All right, beat it. Get out of here. We're done with you. We're done with you. Thank you, guys.
That's pretty cool. I mean, obviously, there's a whole bunch of training classes that go on down here, and they're in stage 3, and there's a bunch of these folks are service managers. There's a bunch of folks making their way through to become a branch manager, a branch leader. So it's just super cool when they come down here, and they're from all over the country, and just really cool.
Excellent, great
and
people.
So Leroy said, "Can you bring them, put them on camera?" I'm like, "Okay, yeah."
Sure.
We didn't do it the first one, but they're cool. So
That's very cool. Very cool.
So what do we got in here?
We got
Hot
everybody
Fudge Sundays or what?
We got Dawn Marie's back. I don't know, glutton for punishment. I don't know what that is. Got Robert Barr with the stash over there, looking good. Let me see. Ronnie Anderson, come on, man, work that lighting. Right now, you're just all dark. Can't even see you, man. Like witness protection program going on there. There you go. There you go.
There's Barry Polk. He's out on the West Coast, but I think that's like a Buffalo Bills background.
Yeah,
huh?
I like Brandon Blankenship. Isn't that a cool name to say from the stadium?
That's an awesome name.
And now, number 45.
Camera
Brandon
shot, folks.
Blankenship.
Turn them cameras on.
Yeah, some of the cameras are on.
I want to see their smiles.
Bostic.
Yeah, and smiles.
I like AE. I don't know why he doesn't put his name. He just has AE in the background, football field. No, it's a golf course, sorry. And just sipping his
Sean
cup of coffee,
Archuleta,
man.
Tony Morales, outstanding.
Derek Kennedy, what's happening? What's going on there, man?
DK.
I see you, man.
Cool.
I see you got. Let me see who else we got. Got a lot of cool people on. Heriberto Garre. Did I get it kind of go? Or is it Heriberto? Heriberto Garre.
Did you see Robert Barr's answer to the Hot Fudge Sunday wine and cheese?
No, what did he say?
He said yes. His peer in Southern Commercial, the region manager there, Rooney, on the last broadcast said the exact same thing.
Oh, wow. Hey, by the way, does Derek Miles look like some type of like Tom Selleck look-alike or something? Like, no, is that just me?
I don't know.
Do you remember Tom Selleck or you don't remember Tom Selleck?
I see San Diego, North San Diego in the house as a group, which is outstanding. Really appreciate that.
Nelson Vidaure. I think I got it, man. Close, man.
You're way better at those than I am.
Yeah, pretty good.
What have you been doing?
I plan to take the month of July off. That's what I told you. I would take it off.
Share that.
It didn't go the way I planned. Everything that. You remember what that Mike Tyson line said? Always said, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I got punched in the face. Totally changed my direction. Did not enjoy the vacation as much as I would have. What have you been up to?
So you shared some of that. I wanted up to. I wasn't up to it because I was in a meeting yesterday. But like one of the coolest things that I've seen happen in a long time here, the commercial division had a blitz. Kind of an old-fashioned blitz. So an Orkin blitz is where you get salespeople in cars with managers or Orkin pros, and they just kind of go out and they just kind of attack the world together.
Okay.
And the commercial division, their budget for the month is like pushing $9 million for the month. The commercial division yesterday in commercial sales sold $1.8 million.
Nice. Wow.
In one day. In one day.
Why are we blitzing every day?
That's kind of what I thought. I said,
why are we blitzing every day?
Why don't we do this every day?
Wow.
No, what's so cool about it, there's so much preparation that goes into it.
Right.
All the leadership gets involved in it, and they kind of get it ready to go and get it, promoting it. And that dang Dawn with those jib jabs. She's got jib jabs of people out there. You're like
doing her thing,
silly stuff. And somebody said, "Oh, you should share one of those." I said, "I'll be darned if I'm going to share one of those jib jabs." Like she embarrassed you, when she
did embarrass me. That's why she's never going to be on the show again.
But so I thought what was so cool. Robert Barr's on the call. I saw a picture of Robert Barr. Maybe Dawn can post it in the chat. Robert Barr, he's a little bit out there, but God, I love the guy. He's been here for 35 years.
He's a little bit out there.
But, just running the wheels off the region out there in Pack Commercial.
Yeah.
And he dressed up like I don't know. What do you think, Don? Can you get it posted like some kind of like rapper with like a money suit on and
Oh,
you
really?
know, he's throwing
He went there?
Yeah. just
Oh, look, somebody put,
outstanding. Just outstanding. Did she put it in there? Is it
no,
up there?
No.
Oh, you didn't
They
put
put
it
a
there.
little Ric Flair thing going on there. I love it.
Absolutely.
I love it.
No, but I mean, you think about when you do that. I guess a couple of takeaways, not to really.
Oh, there it is. There it is. There
Oh,
it
did
is.
she post
Oh,
it?
look at that.
It was crazy.
Money man, gold hat,
Yeah,
gold chain, got money shirt.
That's total buy-in, man. I mean,
Okay.
I just love it when your leaders do that and just kind of
Robert Gold Bar. Yeah.
gold bar.
Yeah. That was quick.
Maybe
wasn't
he's
it?
got a new name.
Ah, Gold Bar. Man, way to go.
Gold bar. I like it.
Yeah.
I like
Why
it.
not? Why not?
But there were a couple things that happened I thought that were really unique. What happened in Southern Commercial Region, I get bits and pieces of it, but their blitz was centered around their account managers working with their pros.
Okay.
And they sold almost $500,000 in the Southern Commercial Region yesterday. Almost 200,000 of it was 50-50 splits
Nice.
with the pro. So the pro may have an existing customer that's having some issues. This one
Right.
in particular had some bird issues.
Okay.
So the pro said, maybe that's a bit over my game. Maybe it's a
Right.
bit over my game.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my salesman. I'm going to take Matt
Yeah.
out with me. And so Matt Fisher, the
Yeah.
account manager
Yeah.
in Southern Commercial, and Elio Martinez, the Orkin Pro,
Right.
with the account with his customer,
Yeah.
it was a big casino. They went out and they sold, Victor, $100,000 bird program to this place together. And the cool thing about it is they split it 50-50. So Matt wasn't too selfish to say I want all that commission
Yeah,
for myself.
yeah.
So he split it with them, and I thought that was one of the coolest things.
I'll take 50% of something instead of 0% of nothing.
100%.
Yeah.
I mean, just
Nicely
makes
done.
a ton of sense.
That would make that an official four-legged call. That's a four-legged call, not a two-legged call. 4 legs.
All right, stop that.
Okay.
The other cool thing that happens too, and I saw it in a couple of different regions, was scavenger hunts. And I've loved this thought process since, I guess the first guy that ever brought it up that I saw it go down was Brian Menke, who's
Okay.
the sales manager in Indiana.
Right.
15 years ago, he put this blitz together, and he had this scavenger hunt where they put a list of like 25 things
Right.
that you get score points for, right?
Right.
Not so much necessarily what you sell or what you propose,
Right.
but did you pitch an air scent? Did you pitch this? Did you pitch that? Did you
Right.
get a picture with your Orkin Pro? Were you working with them? Are you on the
Right.
roof? Can you show us the best inspection pictures? Just kind
I
of
love
promoting
that.
it that way.
I love that idea. It makes it fun.
And the group me just explodes when you do that.
So they were just sharing pictures
Yeah,
of whatever was going on?
Everything. And
Okay.
then at the end of the day, they award, gift cards
Right.
based not on what was sold, but the most points scored
Right.
on the sheet.
I love
just like
that.
just like a scavenger hunt, and I thought that
I
was
love that.
cool.
That's fun, man. That's fun.
Generated a ton of business.
Yeah. Probably some excitement, some enthusiasm to
Yeah,
just do that. Yeah.
and it's just crazy. They predicted they were going to sell 1 million. They said, we're going to come in, we're going to sell $1 million on this Blitz Day. And I was with Scott Weaver, their president, yesterday. He said they're planning on selling 1 million. And then I don't know, I started getting some texts from Don and Mike Palermo, the two sales leaders out there, and they said, well, we're over 1 million and 1.8, and they're probably still counting it. And you think about all the business that they may have pitched yesterday that didn't come to roost yet. Now, Victor, there was, as with most every Blitz,
Yep.
there was some sandbagging going on.
Oh.
So
What's your definition of sandbagging?
Sandbagging is like counting a sale that you might have made already, and it just so happened that somebody served one up and said you should talk about this sale, but I happened to know that it was sold last month or last week because I signed off on it. It was a big $100,000 deal.
Are you saying
Somebody said
that
that.
sandbagging exists at Orkin?
Yeah, and I think Don's line and Mike Palermo's line is just sandbagging. It's not sandbagging. It's just proper preparation.
If you had to pick one of the two, who would be the biggest sandbagger, Don or Mike? I'm trying to get you in trouble now.
You're not going there. I'm smarter than that.
You're not going to answer
I'm
that one, are you?
Smarter than that.
Yeah, I'm smarter than the average bear.
Yeah, but
Okay.
let's jump into some numbers. But
do it.
before we go there, I want to make mention of one thing. In addition to it being National Hot Fudge Sundae Day and National Wine and Cheese Day, so think about it. If you're out working, why don't you bring back hot fudge sundaes for the folks back at the office? What if you rolled back in there this afternoon after you kind of just made a stop by the branch and had hot fudge sundaes for everybody?
Yeah.
What impact would that have? That would be pretty cool.
Fantastic impact.
But in addition to those 2 days, today is actually National Hire a Veteran Day. And I think it's pretty important for us to focus on because as a company, today we sit here with 1 out of 20 of our employees being veterans, being service veterans, U.S. service veterans, which is pretty cool. The goal by our anniversary. Our 125th anniversary is in 2026.
It's a mind blower.
Yeah, how about that?
Just like a mind blower.
1901.
Yeah.
The goal that we've been challenged with, and Pat Chernowski has challenged us with, Pat being a veteran himself, is to double that. We want 10% of our employees
Yeah.
to be veterans
Yes.
in 2026.
That's right.
And when you think about it, the veterans that I know that are here are incredibly successful because they've got those disciplines, they've got those things ingrained
Yeah.
in them. They're good thinkers. So again, there's lots of ways to help if you're trying to staff. Hire a vet, hire a vet, hire a vet, and that's
And
kind
you
of the,
mentioned there's some resources here to be able to help to do that.
yeah.
right?
The marketing team and the HR team has a whole bunch of stuff to support that if you want to chase down and try to promote and chase those folks. But it's just outstanding.
Yeah.
So hire a vet.
I love that. I love that.
Hire vet.
Hey, by the way, so I don't know why this image pops into my head.
Uh-oh.
I'm just gonna say, this image, it's 125 years, and I just have like this image of a horse and a buckboard and an orchid person riding on top of it.
There is
Are
a,
they-
if somebody posts that picture of the wagon in the chat, there's an old wagon.
Giddy up! We gotta catch some rats today. Giddy up!
Don't make fun of that. I'm going to take you over to the Heritage Center and show you the dang wagon. It's like a stagecoach.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah, it is. You quit laughing. That's our heritage.
I just
Be
see
nice.
a cowboy hat, orchid
All right,
shirt.
let's talk about some
All
sales
right, let's
numbers,
go.
Victor. Hey, so the beat goes on with commercial sales in the company. Ever since COVID, we've been delivering double-digit increases. So let's take a look at local commercial sales for the month of June. A little bit of a slip. We were only up 5% for the month of June, but year to date we're up 12%. I think where you balance that out when you have that miss at 5% versus that double digits is when you get into the team sales. Our team sales in the month of June were up 36% year over year. Just crazy good.
Great numbers.
Yeah, year to date, it's up 25%. It's the fastest growing segment of our business, and it has been for the last 5 or 6 years. And you just see more people getting involved.
Yeah.
More people getting involved.
I think it's amazing. I think the fact that they're doing it in this environment, which I think is a more challenging environment than it has been the last couple of years, speaks volumes to how good they are.
Amen. When you roll it all together, you put those two together, you throw in the national account team, national account, solo sales that team makes by themselves. Our total commercial sales are up 11% year over year for the month of June, and we're up 16% year to date.
Wow.
And again, based on double-digit continuous growth and just screaming. Just outstanding.
That's amazing.
The other good news, we just had a meeting this week, Monday, Tuesday, and half day yesterday with all the division presidents. They were all in Atlanta. Pat kind of brought his team together, and we were able to share. I was able to share the sales numbers that I get all the credit for, and I don't sell a lick of business. And it was just a great story to be able to tell, particularly on the commercial side. We're having great success on the residential side as well, but the commercial is really the one that stands out, and where we're just kicking Rentokil Terminix's tail, and we're knocking Ecolab. We're
punching him in the throat. I know.
It's
You
Throw
put-
Punch Thursday, Victor.
Throw
Come
Punch
on,
Thursday.
we can't let that go by without mentioning that. So, just outstanding. And then the good news, as always, is we are converting that to profit. Had a monster profit month in June. Sitting here year to date, we got a nice little jump on profit plans, and I think, it's a great place to work, and what you all are doing is just outstanding. So, thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely.
In addition to the company-wide numbers that are so good, we had 19 of our account managers cross that $75,000 paid-on threshold, and it's just crazy, right? So we should go to the tape and check those folks out.
Nice.
$460,000.
DP is in the house.
I
Deborah
remember
Paccioni.
it wasn't long ago that got you qualified for President's Club.
Yeah.
And she did it in a month.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen her name up there. Has she ever been?
She's been one or two other times she's
Okay.
made it. She's we
Way to
mentioned
go.
her before in the broadcast. She played for the for the Brazil national women's soccer team. She's a player. I mean, she gets after it.
Oh, okay.
And just crazy good.
Amazing numbers, man.
And the
4,
other thing
6,
is,
wow.
she's got a bunch more coming.
Really?
And I checked. I kind of did a quick peek on where production was so far
Right,
this month on
right.
started business. She's up over 300,000 for this month. Wow. She team sold a deal with one of our national account reps and got into a whole bunch of multifamily stuff up in Chicago.
Right, right.
And just slayed it,
Man,
loaded it all up.
We should interview her.
We
You
should.
ever talk about these
she talks so
interviews?
fast though.
Okay.
Holy smokes! I can't even hardly keep up with her.
Okay.
You know, she talks fast. Who else you see on there?
Let me see. Guillermo do Double L Ente is always on there. He's been
Always on there.
he's consistent, man.
100%.
Yeah, he's been up there. Who else?
Civitoni sold 392,000. It came in second.
Yeah. Civitone's going, what happened? What happened? What happened? Right?
I saw Adam Humphrey posting in there. He's a
Yeah.
He's a frequent player
see.
here.
We got Shane Clevin out of Seattle, man.
I think
doing?
I think we're going to bring Shane in
Yeah.
later this month or next month and talk to the folks. You know, through the commercial broadcast.
I love it. What happened to Jordan Boss Money?
What
happened to
He's,
him?
he's
What happened
number
to him?
one for the year, but
Was he?
Civitoni
Oh.
said he was going to catch him.
Yeah, he's
So,
probably taking July off like
at
I
that
did.
rate. Yeah, just
Garrett
outstanding.
Werfel, good names. By the way, great numbers, by the way.
Yeah,
Great numbers.
amen.
Congratulations.
I think the cool thing about it that, you know, as I kind of reviewed the list, I posted the branches versus the regions this time to give you the full effect. Boston to LA, Seattle to Miami.
Yeah.
I mean, you think about that. You know, we talk all the time about it's never the land, it's never the territory.
Yep.
You can do this anywhere.
Yep.
And you know, all those flyover states in between. I think there's like a country guy that sings that song about the flyover states. You look at where this representation's coming from.
It's all over.
Across the
I think
country.
Don said coast to coast. So yeah,
Coast
I'm
to
with you on
coast.
that. Yeah.
Coast to coast.
Coast to coast. And so were some gifts here. What are the gifts here again?
So
Rumor has it that the last group did not get paid.
That rumor has it, and rumor is correct. I didn't pay off on last month's contest, and it completely passed my mind. The good news is these people are very trusting, and they didn't ask me until today about it. So what I'm going to do
They're like,
before Monday is I'm going to pay off on last month's broadcast.
oh, I thought you were going to double it.
And in
Okay.
this month's broadcast, and you try to talk me
Yeah,
into some
yeah,
interest
yeah.
payments.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no interest payments going on here. So first place gets $500, and everybody else that makes that list gets a $100 Amazon gift card.
I have a request. It's a
What's
small
your-
one.
what's
It's a
your
very it's a
request?
very small request.
Yeah.
When you get a moment, like Stormy sent me out to get some coffee. She said, Victor, I have a gift card. Why don't you go out and get us a quick cup of coffee?
Yeah, you
I
do
go
that
to Star-
all the time, right?
Yeah, and so I go out to get a cup of coffee, and all of a sudden I thought I was going to get a zero bill, and the guys pretty much gave me a full bill. And I said, well, how much was on that card? She had $1.30 on the gift card. What does that say? So never accept a card from her. I was like $1.30. Well, you're generous. Thank you for pitching in and buying me a cup. I'm like, I wanted to pay for most of it myself. Give the girl a card. Just give her a card.
We'll have to give her a Starbucks card for sure. No.
Great list, by the way. Congratulations.
Yeah, outstanding. Just super performances.
Yep.
Kim Dew's a new visitor to that list. Other than that, it's pretty. These folks have all
Yep.
been there before.
Got
So
some good names on there.
congratulations.
Well, big money, though.
Absolutely.
Congratulations. They're killing it. Those numbers, those roll-up numbers are really good.
Yeah.
The roll-up numbers are excellent. So,
I mean, if you just do the math on that, you know, you think about 20% of that on those dollars being sold. These are some big paychecks.
Yeah.
You know, I think I did the math. We were sitting around doing the math on Deborah's check, and we're pretty well convinced she might have made as much as Gary Rollins made last month.
oh, nice.
So-
Good for her. Good
so
for her.
just think about
By the
that.
way, I want to thank the people for sending this wonderful Orkin picture, the pest control buckboard. I'd never seen that. I swear you, I'd never seen that picture. That's amazing. That's amazing. I had it in
And
my
somebody
head.
said, take them next door. There's a whole heritage center that you've been dealing with us for.
I've never been
I've
there.
been working with you for like 12 years. It's time to take you over there.
Yeah. Got to learn some Orkin history, Victor.
Amen.
All right.
There's a buggy. So today, you know, as I'm sitting there thinking and I'm trying to focus on these folks, you know, I jumped back into the Sales Velocity Academy, and it struck me that you had posted 3 new pieces,
Right.
and those 3 new pieces. What I want to do is I want to challenge everybody on this. You know, I've got this, you know, kind of this messaging that I've shared fairly frequently about 1440. There are 1440 minutes in every day. You know, what you do with yours is completely up to you, and what I do with mine is completely up to me. I've always challenged folks to invest in themselves, to see if they can find 15, 20 minutes a day. You know, either get your tail out of bed earlier in the morning, stay up later, grind some time out, turn the dang TV off, and focus on trying to get yourself a little bit better. And when I was doing that, when I was clicking through the new content, what you've done is you've really just kind of updated
Yep.
some messaging
Right.
that when I watched those, when I saw them pop up, I watched all three of them. I watched them twice, and I'm saying, my gosh, I got to share this with these folks. And it's all about getting customers to switch, which when you come right down to it, that's what their job is here.
Right.
Our residential sales folks are going out and selling stuff to people that maybe never bought anything. Their goal, when you get right down to it, is their job is quite frankly to get in the door. We talked about prospecting on the last couple of broadcasts, but at the end of the day, convincing that customer to switch, to come to us. And these three couldn't be more perfect for our team. So the challenge is going to be, we're going to talk through and kind of highlight them, but the challenge is, Victor has sent me the links. While they're all in the Sales Velocity Academy, he'll talk to that. I'm going to have the links, and I'm going to send you the links to these three videos.
Right.
I've already downloaded them. I'll have them in my YouTube channel and push them to you, probably sometime this evening. But let's talk about that, getting customers to change, the updated kind of spin you put on it.
Okay. So for those of you who are not yet been into the Sales Velocity Academy, give your emails to your managers, and they'll send them over to Ed, and we'll get you logged into the Sales Velocity Academy. So the three new courses, I have something called fast classes now, because I realize that a lot of people just don't have a lot of time to invest. So this is a 3-part series on how do you get customers to switch. The first video is my favorite, is how do you reduce perceived effort? Think about this for a second. Customers who think they want to switch, you'll give them all the feature, benefits, advantage, gains of why they should come with Orkin, right? But in their mind, they're thinking, well, what's it going to take to switch over? Add some flavor to that, Ed.
Yeah, so I mean, I think all of us have proposals out there. Heck, I got proposals that are 30 years old that I still think they're going to say yes. Because you leave there in that mindset where they loved everything you said, but nothing ever happened. And I think what happens oftentimes when they assess, when you leave, they're nodding their head like, oh, I love it, I love it, I love it, I love it. We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. When you leave and you're out of that moment of that, that point of sale moment, they start thinking, oh man, I'm going to have to do this, going to have to do this, going to have to do this. And you talk all the time about that friction. We want to reduce that friction in their mind. That like, they know they should probably change.
Right.
They like what you had to say, and it makes sense, but they never pull the trigger. So talk a lot about reducing the friction.
Right. Because what happened, it's mostly in the brain. So in other words, I always like to use the example of, let's say you're with a cable operator or an internet service provider. And if I came to you with a 10% better deal, you may or may not take it. Even if I came to you with a 20% deal, you may not take it. Because in your mind, you're thinking it's a better deal. But, okay, what's it going to take to switch over? How many days do I have to take off of work just to get this done? Will it actually work? So there's all these reasons. Think about your meeting. You're having a meeting, it's going great. As Ed's pointed out, they're nodding yes, this is going good. But as soon as you leave, they start thinking about all the things they'll have to do. I have to cancel the contract, reach out, talk to maybe a friend, and cancel it. That's kind of a difficult conversation to have. Then I have to maybe just get the standardized in the system, right? Get a SOP change, right? Standard operating procedure. And then maybe I have to go through contract, go through legal, and then maybe in terms of switching over, I have to, there's a lot of things that ripple out from making that change. Our job is to reduce that friction by talking about it in the meeting.
Yeah, and I think what happens often when we do it right, I think oftentimes we just, not necessarily throw up and tell them all the things that we can do,
Right.
but spinning the features and benefits, getting them to say yes. But I think one of the things that we miss, particularly commercially, is how we're going to help them through the transition.
Right.
And that's where you tell them, here's what we're going to do. When you become our customer, here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this, to kind of hold their hand through the process so that they understand what's happening. A lot of our national account deals that we get involved in, they're more concerned about the transition process than they are the actual, obviously the price and all
Great
that.
point.
But how do we change? How do we change? How do I go away from what I'm doing now? And I want you as the salesperson to give me that comfort level by not waiting until they say yes.
Right.
I think that's the fault that we make sometimes is we wait until they say yes and then we talk about transition plan.
Right.
I think to get them to say yes, to get them off that edge,
Right.
to reduce that friction, talk transition plan up front.
Right.
So they know that, okay, boy, I like what this guy's saying, I like what this gal's saying. Oh, that's how they're gonna make sure this is easy to do.
Yes, that's it.
And again, I think we wait until we get the yay, and sometimes
That's a good way of putting it. That's
Yeah.
a good way of putting it. We often do wait to get the yes first, and then we'll say, here's how it's going to work.
Yeah.
Where we're saying, talk about it as part of your presentation process.
Amen. So that's kind of the perceived effort. Talk a little bit about the trusted advisor piece, because I think
Yeah.
that's the 3 parts. So you got the you know, the reducing the, you know, the perceived effort, and then the
Right.
trust advisor. Talk about that a little bit.
So when we talk about trust, I came up with this 3-part formula. It's really simple. In order to get people to move, you got to get them to trust you. In other words, you got to give them the confidence to make the move. The first part in that equation is to take their point of view, to really understand where they're coming from. By that I mean is that even think about what it's going to take them to make that change. So that's how it ties into the perceived effort. The second part is you position yourself as a subject matter expert. In other words, when you're talking, you're explaining things, you're providing information about Orkin, but you're also providing insight. We've always talked about insight as information beyond the obvious. Tell them things they don't know or haven't thought of. And then the third part is always remember, as you're having that conversation, you're always keeping their best interest in mind. Yes, we want to close a deal, but keep their best interest in mind. So if I take your point of view, position myself as a subject matter expert, and I keep your best interest in mind, hopefully that loyalty, that trust, that confidence begins to go up.
Yeah, and again, there are so many nuggets in these three. All the videos all in, I think, are like 40 minutes tops, all three of them.
Total.
But there are so many nuggets. And another one on that, you know, the slow down to speed up, I think, is one that we, you know, there's a great book on that, by the way, too. I forget the author at this point in time. But slowing down to speed up. Talk a little bit about that and how sometimes we rush the deal trying to get there too fast.
Yeah. It's almost like a paradox. To slow down is to speed up a sale. And just think of a car. If you slow down, you can see more. If you go too fast, you miss things. Same thing in a presentation, especially if you're just starting a relationship. Slow the presentation down. And what I'm asking you to do is, when you're talking to the customer, don't just listen to what they're saying. As soon as they shift body language, right? As soon as they give you that whatever facial gesture, they do something that, you know, calls, you know, your attention a little bit, saying, I don't think they bought. A lot of people just keep going through their presentation because they're like, let me just talk about the feature, benefit, advantage, gain. The best of the best, Ed, know when to kind of say, I said something, they kind of had a reaction, a little shift in body language. Let me find out what that is. And they stop and they ask more questions. Ed, I just mentioned this, this, and this, and I can see that that made you not uncomfortable, but maybe you're not seeing what I've just explained. Can I ask you why? Can you tell me what you thought about what I just said? And that's when you start pulling them into your conversation. That's the slowing down piece.
Yeah, and building on that too, the asking the questions, right? You mentioned a little bit. Just
Right.
Are we training to ask questions? Or
Correct.
Are we trained
Because
what
we
to
talked
say
about-
versus what to ask, right?
There it is. The thing we talked about this. The average salesperson practices what to say. The superior salesperson practices what to ask. When you ask, you're like guiding that conversation to where you want to take it.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the third one you talk about is the loyalty effect, and I think this really comes into play with what our folks do all the time. Talk a little bit about the loyalty effect that goes on in the customer's mind when we're asking them to switch.
We all intuitively, you know this. You probably have a better product or service and offering than what they're currently using, but in their mind, they're rationalizing why they don't want to change. And again, if you break a word rationalize, it's the ability to rationalize to yourself, because that's what customers do. They'll lie to themselves to stay with something that's maybe inferior because they don't want to change. The perceived effort is too high, and maybe I don't trust you as much. So they'll come up with some rationalization why they should stay. But that's an emotional decision. Our job is to move them from the emotional side to the logical side. That's where you win the deals. So when you're talking to a customer, and my favorite phrase is, Mr. Customer, in business, isn't it always good to have options? They're obviously going to say yes. And all you have to do is say, and that's all we are, an option. I want to show you what we do. And again, what you're trying to do is get away from the emotion and say, this is a business, let's think like business people and move them over to the logical side.
Yeah,
Anything to add?
all these buzzwords about consultative selling and things like
Yep.
that, right? Tend to have you lean into trying to get to the more emotional side, right? And it's a misnomer, it's a mistake, because if you want to get them away from the emotion and get them focused on the logic once you establish that.
Especially and I'll split that finally. When you're trying to get customers to switch, you're trying to break the emotional tie.
Yep.
You're trying to move them over to the logical side, right? When we're doing the sale the first time, I think there's a combination of both, logical and emotional. You want both that, but definitely when you're switching over, you have to move them over to the logical. There's that saying, it isn't until the pain of the same is greater than the pain of the same that people will change.
Exactly.
In other words, I have to see if staying the same is painful. Guess what? It's too painful. It's more than the change. I will make a change. So our job is to say, look, if you can keep doing this, or you still stay, with the status quo, here's how you're losing. And until you show them that pain, they won't react.
And I think it's so important in our industry and what we do, the relationship that the other company's technician has with the vendor or the person that you're purchasing from. They may love their technician even if they're getting crappy service, right? You're showing them all this stuff wrong, all this stuff's wrong, blah, blah, blah. Oh, but Billy Bob, he's a really good guy. I really like Susie. Yeah, everybody loves her. She comes in, she smiles, she keeps everybody happy. But you're getting really bad service. So I think it really comes into play there. You got to break that. You got to take it away from the emotional and say at the end of the day, you got to come here. And I think oftentimes what happens is when you uncover, obviously what they do is they go out and they uncover some issues and some pain,
right,
and they share it with the customer. And oftentimes the customer has the reaction, well, I'm going to give them 30 days to clean it up.
Right.
I'm going to give them 60 days to clean it up. And I think you got to strike, when they say that to you, you just got to close them right then.
Right.
You can't afford 30 days.
Right.
Hold up your iPhone and say, look, everybody's a studio production now. What if you get caught? What if it damages your reputation? Don't give them that 30 days. Give it to me. If we don't fix it, we'll give you all your money back. And spin the triple guarantee into that.
Or what was that one line we talked about? You ask the person, they'll say, I want to give them 30 days.
Yeah.
And then you ask, honestly, Ed, if you gave them 30 days, do you think they're going to change?
And how would it be permanent? Would they change forever?
Or
would
would
it go back to the old status?
There it is. And that's how you get them off of that. Now, that's why, again, the questioning skills are important.
Again, that's a big hurdle.
Yep.
They tend to love their folks doing their service. I mean, it's a big
And by
deal.
the way, it's very schizophrenic in the sense that, if you think of sales this way, we want people to be loyal to us, right? Yes. But when we're trying to take business, hey, don't be loyal.
Amen.
So
Amen.
It's
Amen.
a very interesting concept.
Get this down. Make this finances, right?
It's a very interesting dynamic,
But again, the game that they play is takeaway, right?
Yeah.
And I promise you, I see a lot of faces on the call. I'm not going to tell you anything to do that I wouldn't do myself or don't think makes incredible value to you. I promise you that if you spend the time to invest in these 3 videos, your game will get better. We were chatting between the broadcasts. There's 30, 40 nuggets. I mean, even one sentence lines in there that are like, oh my God. If you can arm yourself with these, I mean, just don't watch it once. Hell, I've watched it twice in the past 3 nights. That's what I do with my time. I don't watch TV. So, but think about that. Try to find time in your day to consume these videos, and they're going to be linked up. You'll have them tonight. You'll have all 3 of the series tonight in your email. You can get out to the Velocity Academy, but sometimes going to get stuff, you all get too lazy. You don't go through the loops to get it. I'm going to serve it up to your email inbox. Yep. All you got to do is click play. Yeah. What else?
A couple of comments here.
Yeah.
Both Robert Goldbar and Rick Bostic said the same thing. Slow is smooth and smooth is fast. I like that.
There you go.
That is so good. Roy Gonzalez says the missing piece is creating a peace of mind for the customer.
I think
that. And it's all about reducing that anxiety, right? How do you reduce the customer's anxiety? Don't allow more time to go by to damage your reputation. Let's get it fixed now. That's what Hamlet says. Aubrey says, where are the videos? They're coming your way, or they're in the Sales Velocity Academy, Aubrey.
100%. Yeah, they'll be out tonight.
Yep.
You'll be in your email box tonight. We pushed time. Let's get out of here real quick.
Do it.
Just some housekeeping. 15% dividend or 15-cent dividend yesterday on the stock. The stock took a little hit. I can't figure out the stock market. I thought we had a decent earnings call, but the stock's taking a little bit of dip today, but it'll bounce back up. We talked last broadcast about bumping your 401k a little bit. All of our account managers, for the most part, 95% of them, a number I shared this week earlier with the DPs, 95% of our account managers are making more money than they did last year. The ask last month was to just bump your 401k contribution 1%. If you're at 3, go to 4. If you're at 10, go to 11. Just believe me, your old age, your old gray-haired self will thank you one day if you do that. Fly control is just on right now. I mean, everywhere in the country, flies are buzzing everywhere. My wife's wearing me out. We got flies in our little cabin up there at the lake. Bird control, if you're not into bird control, I think of the 1.8 million yesterday, I think probably 300,000 of it was tied to some bird line service. If you're not there, beat your manager up and get better at it. Hydrate. In the news, I think the last couple of days have been the 2 hottest days ever on the planet. Make sure you're hydrating, and then more importantly, make sure you're taking care of your pros. When's the last time you did a ride along with your pro? We saw yesterday how successful riding along with your Orkin pros can be. Split some sales, give up some of that commission, give me half of something versus 0 of nothing. Just makes sense. Split those commissions, make a friend. They've got business out there right now that needs more of our services, but they haven't taken the time or had the understanding or the knack or the want to sell that, so get after that. The last thing we're going to do, we're going to leave this chat open for a bit. What I want you to do is Victor and I are going to work out a system to record and capture in kind of a podcast format our successful folks. And what we want to do is we want to ask you in this chat right now to post what account manager would you like us to interview to share with you on next month's broadcast? Not a sales manager, not a national account rep. What account manager would you like us to interview? So get to posting. Who do you want to hear from? Which one of your peers do you want to hear from? And anything else?
That's it.
No, just thanks. I mean, it's crazy good to be able to stand up in front of a room of division presidents and tell your story. It's not my story, it's your story. And I can't be more thankful for what you all are doing.
Great
Just
job.
Be safe, hydrate.